I'm going to say it right here, folks. If you're brand new to this show, you've never heard it before, this is not the episode you want to start on. You might want to go back an episode or maybe bookmark it and do it next week. But don't listen to this one because I'm going to be shot out of a cannon today. If you will listen, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Your good intentions have been stolen. But don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process. But hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Here's a little John Prine and Emmylou Harris for you. Yeah, to believe this is living, it's just a hard way to go. That's the way I've been feeling lately, Anna. Folks, that's the beautiful Miss Anna Vocino over there.
Hi.
Yeah. There she is.
I want to see where this goes because it's very timely that you are saying these sentiments.
Listen, Anna, as you know, Marie Tortorich will tell you, once I see something, I can't unsee it.
Sure.
She'll tell you that. She'll be the first to tell you that.
About your personality trait specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't unsee. I cannot unsee. I can only see. And, you know, you usually hear this from me. You hear this kind of stuff from me whenever I end up like in the Atlanta airport. Right?
Yeah. Or any airport, but that one is a particularly tricky one.
Atlanta airport is one of my favorite airports to people watch. See, for anyone who does not know a lot about me or may not know a lot about me, I don't get out much. I don't go to concerts. I'm not around people. I've always been a guy that just works by myself. And all my clients were always just the people I would see. Anyone else that I see in the world, it's ancillary, right? You know, it's not meant to be seen by me. And am I a loner? No. Do I like to go to parties and socialize? Absolutely not. I'm just, would you consider me, as my mom would always say, I was a bit eccentric. Would you agree with that, Anna? Or you've known me for long enough?
Listen, I'm in the entertainment industry and there's a lot of eccentrics. So I don't find you to be like odd or you know what I mean? It's just, I think that you are an introvert who is great with people, if that makes sense, but you recharge your batteries alone.
Yeah. That's for sure. You know,
but you're great with people. So you're not like, you don't make anybody uncomfortable when you're like, there's some introverts where you're like, oh God, I need to make sure they're okay. I feel like I don't have to make sure you're okay. I know you're okay.
No, I'm okay. Just, you know, I was at a wedding this past weekend and that's right. Where we're heading. We're heading down to Destin, Florida here in a couple of minutes.
Oh, I've been to Destin a million times. I can't wait to hear this.
Oh, you get ready. So, you know, I went to the wedding. Perfect. I look perfectly normal in that setting. I don't really know how to dance. And I have a beautiful woman. I have one of the most gorgeous women on the planet.
She wants to dance.
And boy, can she dance. She can dance like if she goes to South America and, you know, she's getting down with those people. She can dance, right? She's just amazing. And I got 2 left feet. Right. But I make do. I get out there and do what I can do.
I'm finding a disconnect. And here's what it is. You did the dance video in the 80s. You had to learn to dance. And I know you can dance.
Yeah, I could teach myself how to do moves, but it looks very mechanical. I don't look good when I dance. Right. Like I don't look smooth.
You're not like,
like when my nephew was doing his first song, his first, you know, dance with his wife, and he took lessons. I turned to Serena and I went, she turned to me first. She goes, wait a minute. He dances like you. And I said, he needs to go get his money back on those lessons because they did him no good.
Dancing is it can be a very self-conscious thing for people.
I'm not even self-conscious. I don't know what to do with my body. And I'm very athletic. Right. So
see, that's why I call bullshit on it. I bet you're actually a good dancer. You just haven't practiced.
Here's the thing.
That's all I'm going to say.
in social situations, I make myself do it when I have to.
Right.
I'm around other people when I have to be. Very seldom do I go to a concert or a sporting event or anything like that because I'm not comfortable around a lot of people. I like to invite people to my house, and I like to go to people's house when I know I'm sitting around a table with just them, like another couple or another few people that I know. Outside of that, man,
I'm with you on that. A controlled group is always easier, but I'm going to say something to you. And it's not typically said to men, but one of your greatest gifts is that of observation, and that you can then sum up what you've observed into like learning bites, which is one reason why I love your YouTube and your Instagram so much, right? You have that gift. Your people who are sensitive to what's going on around them have that gift. So it doesn't surprise me to hear you wouldn't love going to a concert around a big group of people and around so here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means that like one of your biggest gifts also means that you have to kind of protect it and not be around a place that stresses you out. That's all.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I used to get lucky with my clients in LA because I would go with them to concerts where you go through a tunnel through the back and then you get right in front.
That's how I like to go to sporting events if I have to go to a public sporting event.
And then,
sit in the box.
and then they take you out, out of a secret passage. So whenever one of my, as I call them, my expensive clients would take me to, that's when I would go. Right.
Totally. You're preaching the choir here.
Anyone who doesn't know, I've worked with celebrities and high-end people for a lot of years. And I flew private a lot. And I got into concerts and events not the way the rest of the world does. And it's pretty effing cool if you're me and you're not good. That's the only way I got to see people like Tim McGraw or Toby Keith, or, I was like, oh, I love these artists, right? But I'm not going to go get a ticket and go because I got to be next to, boy, that's rough. I barely do it on an airplane.
Yeah.
So
no, I hear you. I hear you.
You get it, right? It's not.
I get it because I'm built the same way. I can't. I get overloaded, and I'm not some. Yeah. I can't I can't go to a concert and then like get high like everybody else does, and like I can't.
Yeah,
I can't. So I get it.
So we're in Destin. So Serena and I decided to get there a couple of days early because we've taken zero time this year for ourselves. So we went to Pawleys Island a month or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a quick thing. We were there and we said to ourselves, we need to decompress again because this is not enough. What people need to understand is I work all day, and when I'm not working, I'm exercising, and then I'll work until midnight because my work is right in my office where my gym is.
And sometimes later, because I'm texting you and I'm winding down at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and you're still up.
Yeah, I'll be texting you. It's like 1 o'clock. I'm still working,
mm-hmm.
right? Well, Serena goes, I'm making you decompress again, but we're going to go a couple of days early. And I did not fight.
That's a good woman. That's a good woman.
I did not fight. And I'll tell you what else is great about this woman. She loves to drive with me, because I like to drive everywhere. I'd rather drive. And, it's very comforting to me to drive.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, folks, I'm not scared of airplanes or falling out of the sky. I don't have any of that. I do get motion sick, but I have a pill for that. One of the few medications I take. It's the only medication I take when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because I have an inner ear thing. I've had it my whole life, and I can't be jostled around too much. I sound like a damn fucking snowflake. I don't like to be around people. I can't get on a plane. Okay.
Why are we not allowed to have preferences?
Okay. So I like to drive. Right. And people always tell me, it's cheaper to fly when you're trying to save money. No, I know it's more expensive. I'm burning oil. I'm burning gas. I'm burning tire leather, all of it. Right. I'm using a car, but I don't care. I put hundreds of thousands of miles in my car before I sell them. So, I get my use out of them, or as close as I can. At any rate, we get down to Florida. And we're staying at this pretty swanky hotel right there on Destin on the beach. Now, the last time I was in Fort Walton, Destin area, I was at Fort Walton. and I was known as the king of spring, right? Yeah, that's right. I could be around people, folks, when I'm trying to get laid, when I'm 18.
I was gonna say
It works.
the Girls Gone Wild went wild for Vinny.
Oh, that was before Girls Gone Wild. I gave that idiot an idea. But yeah, I was young, dumb, and full of something. And
Full of some.
So full of some. And boy, if Lois had been down there in those days, wouldn't have even been a dumpster. Wouldn't have even been a dumpster involved. Maybe just a sand dune. Who knows?
Just out by the dunes.
Yeah.
Take her out in a dune buggy.
You know, Serena and I took a picture by the dunes and put it on the Instagram or somewhere.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Because, you know, the Pina Colada song.
Yeah.
And let's see if I can find it. I'll show it to you. I took a picture by the dunes. There it is. Yeah.
Oh, y'all are cute.
The dune behind us. And look,
Yeah.
I got a picture of her. You want to see her ass, Anna? Look at that.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
She was laying out.
Did you post that too?
That's a 62-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Here's the thing. I like butts.
Yeah.
And I would want to go over and pat her butt, but I know you can't do that anymore.
They frown upon it.
They frown upon it. But I feel like Serena would let me pat her butt.
You know what her name?
If I see a cute butt, I really want to spend. I just want to go.
You know, before she was a
Dog butts, human butts.
Before she was an actress, she was a model.
Yeah.
And she did a lot of bikini work, as you can imagine.
Yeah. She has that perfect body for that.
In Europe, her nickname was Serena Scott Bottom because she had the.
Now that means something else.
Yeah. It's like, honey, don't say that anymore.
I can't. We're done.
Unless you're in Gay Town, and then you can say it.
Yeah.
At any rate, we're at this hotel that's right on the beach. And the beach, you know, they tell us, hey, we have a section right in front of the hotel on the beach where you guys can rent an umbrella and a couple of chairs. Now, it's not a private beach, but Destin is kind of swanky anyway, and it's somewhat private. So
swankier than PCB.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where I used to go on spring break.
I thought all of you kids came down to Fort Walton because we had a lot of Georgia people down there too.
No, we would go to Destin. Well, here's the thing. See, my dad lived in Montgomery since I was 1. So we would go to Destin. What's the one? Gulf Shores. We go to Gulf Shores every summer.
Shores, Alabama. Yeah, that's pretty good.
We go to Seaside. We go to, but PCB, we went a couple times. And then we go to Key West if we were getting real adventurous.
Yeah. Yeah. So at any rate, the beach, so I said, hey, set up two chairs and an umbrella, I want to have some, so we don't get too much sun, whatever. And so we're sitting out there. We get out there fairly early the next day. And the first thing we did was we dropped our stuff at our chair. And then we went for a walk jog. We went about 2 miles down the beach and then turned around, came 2 miles back. We walked jog for as long as that took, because I didn't want to just sit out there and not get some exercise.
Question.
Go on.
Do you walk jog on the dry part of the sand where it takes more leg strength, or do you go where the sand is packed down a little bit from the waves crashing?
No, we went from the pack down from the high tide.
Okay, that makes me feel better because I was like, if you're going to say you did it the other way, I'd be like, you guys, no one can do that but you guys.
Well, the only time I used to do that was when I was in high school and college. I wanted to keep, I would go out there for workouts. It's like, hey, I'm here. Right. And we would set up a 40-yard sprint in the loose sand and do workouts.
But that's 40 yards, not 2 miles.
And that was sprinting.
I just feel relieved as a civilian that you did the pack down part of the sand.
Oh, no, we did the pack. We just want, I didn't want to just go plop down in a chair, because you're just vegging out at that point. You know me, I need to get some energy out. And Serena's the same way. So we did about 2 miles down, 2 miles back. She has the watch on. When we got back, she goes, oh, we did 4.6 miles. So that's how I knew. Right. So we got back, sat in the chairs for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And then, went in the water, got a little more exercise, got back, sat in the chairs, laid out in the sun for a few minutes here and there, just the normal stuff you would do at the beach, just decompressing. But you can't see what's right. You can't not see what's right in front of you, which is what the problem was. Everybody to a person was either obese or morbidly obese.
Everybody to a person?
I said to
What does
Serena,
that mean?
all right, so let's take out the kids that were playing with the little sand buckets, and let's take those kids out, because there was a lot of parents and families with the little tiny kids. They kind of stoop down and fill up the sand bucket, and then that kind of thing, toddlers or what have you. Throw those out of the equation, although most of those had some weight on them, but they're babies. They're supposed to have baby fat.
Sure.
I looked around for about 10 minutes, including the people that were walking by or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I need to find someone of a normal BMI. Normal BMI. I'm not looking for a ripped out. I know what people are thinking. Oh, you're looking for someone ripped out. No. I want to see normal BMI. So looked for about 10 minutes. Could not find one. And then I started doing the thing in my head. It's like, okay, this hotel's a little ritzy. Maybe people with a little extra money, they eat a little extra. But then I started thinking, when I was on the jog, everybody else that I saw when I was out there jogging, they also had a weight problem. Now, maybe not to a person, but as a matter of fact, I remember I started thinking through. It's like, oh yeah, so I know beachcomber. He had the two rods set up, stuck in the sand. He was like an 80, not an 80, maybe a 75-year-old man, really thin. So I went, okay, I saw that guy, looking for fish, trying to fish. But I was trying to think and see someone else. So I finally said to Serena, I said, Serena, look around. Tell me when you see someone of a normal weight. And several minutes passed, and she finally, there's this couple walking down the beach. And she goes, oh, look, they're fit. And I looked at her and I said, no. That guy's got a big giant chest, big giant lats, big arms, and big legs. He works out. But he's got fat. He's got the big gut on him. He's what I call fit fat. And his wife / girlfriend, whatever she was, same thing, right? They were smoothed over. I went, they're not a normal BMI. That's not normal. Find me normal BMI. We could not come up with it. It made me so sad. It just made me so sad that the last time I was on the same beach, let's call it when I took the Newman kids, that was basically Cooper Manning in that group. That was the last time I was in Fort Walton. I took them to the beach.
80 something?
Let's call it 80, maybe 87, 88.
Yeah.
How many years is that, Anna?
34.
At least?
36.
Let's call it 35 years, give or take.
Okay.
35 years. I hadn't been on that beach. The last time, and look, I don't go to beaches anymore. I just don't. It's just not been part of my life. Right. And anytime I went to a beach, it was in California, some secluded beach in Malibu.
Right.
You see and the people you see there are actors and actresses, right, who have to look a certain way. Again, my coddled life of not being around just everyday Americana. It made me so depressed. It made me so upset that these people, just looking at them, I'm going down the list. Type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, sleep apnea, on and on and on. And what made me more depressed is where we were sitting, you were able to get food and drinks. They had a guy come around with
Sure.
an apartment giving you hey, and Serena and I kept saying, listen, if we want something, we'll wave you over. Please go help everyone else. I brought water here. We're good. We brought water to the beach. So we have water. Everybody else, I'm looking around. They got the drinks. And I get it, folks. I know what you're going to say. Oh, come on, Vinnie, they're having fun. They're on vacation. Everybody's got the big sugary drink. And it looks like a milkshake. Anna, these things were not regular drink size. They were a lot 16
Like
ounces.
like big
or
tiki
20
drinks or something, like
Yeah, but big plastic
pina
glass.
coladas or whatever,
Yeah, you got your pina coladas, you got your
daiquiris and whatnot.
yeah, you're just sugary drinks.
The
Right?
frozen whipped drinks or like
Some of them were that, some of them were, they had ice in them, but it wasn't like you can't see like bourbon in there, whatever they have there, like it looks creamy.
right.
Or it looks like a margarita that's not a frozen margarita, or it's pink or it's some other color, right? All connotations that there's sugar, extra sugar in these drinks. And it's not just drinks. You can order tacos. You can order
Well, beach food are going to be wrapped in carbs. That's just how it is. Beach food is fries, it's tacos, it's burgers.
Fries, you name it. Yeah, burgers. And people are just sitting there.
It's hard to get something that's not like, sometimes they'll do a shrimp salad or you can ask for a burger with no bun. But I hear you. Beach food is easy, convenience, fried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these people, and most of them are lounging on these chairs just like us. And I see the kids playing by the water, and I'm going, you know what? If a kid started getting swept out, it reminded me of the Scott King story. I feel like I'm going to have to be the person to go run out and grab that kid, because ain't nobody getting out of a chair that quick. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. These people were just sitting there lethargically putting food in their mouth. You're at the beach. The entertainment at the beach is eating nothing but junk food. It made me sad in ways you couldn't imagine.
Was anybody out swimming and doing the boogie boards and whatnot? Or doing like the games, the can jams?
I saw someone with like a beach style tube, in a tube looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they would just go bob out in the water and just kind of hang on to that. And I'm not just talking just, normal obesity. I mean, women, 350 pounds. And I guess I don't really notice it as much when they're more clothed in an airport. It does bother me when I'm in Atlanta, as I always say, or Dulles.
Right.
But when you're seeing these people out, and look, folks, this is not about me thinking that they're unattractive or anything. It's their health. And I'm looking at this going, is this America now? Is this it? Everyone, we're living in idiocracy where everyone's going to sit in the chair, play a video game, and the chair is also a toilet. So while you're eating, you can shit. That was the one thing I remembered about the movie Idiocracy. Folks, if you think this movie was supposed to be about the future, way in the future, and that movie was done about 15 years ago, we're living in it now, because nobody could move fast. And all they were doing, the addiction. It's the addiction of the food. And I know this is not a comfortable thing to listen to. This is why, I said, if this is your first podcast, don't listen. Just don't listen.
Which, by the way, is going to make everybody listen. Just for human nature.
I'm begging you guys, go away. I'm usually not this guy.
But here's the thing. I'm going to clarify, because I know what you mean. And the fact that you've devoted your life to helping people get healthy and giving them the correct information instead of getting them hooked on some endless gerbil hamster wheel of diet products. So you are not framing this as anything's wrong with these people because their good intentions have been stolen.
Right.
You are framing this in like, oh my gosh, we have been acting so, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you're not conscious and you're not intentional, where you're here's the thing. Somebody told me one time about smoking. Like, once you find out that smoking is bad for you, every time you have a cigarette, you're consciously choosing to do something that's bad for you. And a lot of addicts get to that point for a long time before they're ready to stop and go, you know what? But it takes a lot to go, I have to own these choices that I'm making. And that's a hard place to be, because, you always say, well, if you knew better, you do better. Well, once you do know better, if you still continue to choose to do it. So there is an element of, some people don't know better, and it's crazy and it's shocking. But then some people do know better and they're still choosing it, but they're not ready to make the emotional choice yet.
It's because of the addiction of it, right?
Exactly. That's how powerful the addiction is that it
I don't-
has
I don't
people still
think these
choosing
people-
bad, even
I
though
do
they
not-
know they're hurting themselves and their families.
Let me be even more clear, Anna. I don't think these people are weak-minded.
No.
I don't think they're lazy. These people, look, these people are smart people. They're obviously earning enough money to be at this hotel.
Right.
Right. These are people who have done well for themselves. These are doctors and lawyers and whoever, people that do well in life. And they are not lazy people. These are people, this addiction is so strong, you can't break. You know what?
I know.
This would be a great time for me to play a little piece of my video where I talk about addiction and sugar. But before we do that, folks, Villa Capelli olive oil. There is no sugar in Villa Capelli olive oil, none whatsoever. Villa Capelli, a guy was asking me on a consult today. I'll tell you the guy's name so you know I'm not lying. Jason. Jason was, we were talking, and Jason's like on his third consult with me. I feel like we're old buddies now, from California. And we were talking about, he brought up, he goes, you're right about the Villa Capelli thing. We started talking about seed oils. He goes, I never thought of it before, but how can a company like Bertolli's be in every major grocery store around just this country
At that price point.
At that price point and say that this is 100% pure olive oil? You can't.
No.
We don't have that many olive trees in the world just to take care of like Bertolli's, not to mention every other bullshit olive oil company. Villa Capelli is making the real thing. Now listen, they're not the only ones, but they're the only ones that pay to be on this show. So we're going to talk about
And they're wonderful and great. And they've been supporting us for a very long time. So get your hands on some Villa Capelli olive oil, the best olive oil on the planet. You're going to want to use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE, and you'll get 10% off your order each and every time. Here's the trick Vinnie and I say to do. And I need to do this actually. Get a 3-liter tin and then maybe some salts or maybe a flavored oil, but bring your cart total up to around $145, $150. Use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE. You'll get 10% off your order, but you'll still qualify for free shipping. That's how we like to game the system. Don't game the system by buying a cheap olive oil. Game the system by getting free shipping at Villa Capelli olive oil.
Absolutely. Anna, I just did a whole thing. It's a short video on my YouTubes. And we're talking about sugar addiction. You want to hear a little bit of it? Want to hear where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let me turn this up over here. Sugar addiction is real. How do I know this? I'm a sugar addict. First, we're going to dig in to see what happens when you eat sugar and how it affects your brain. And then I'm going to give you some surefire ways to beat it. Over the past 11 years, I've been very lucky to host many experts on my Fitness Confidential podcast, such as Dr. David Perlmutter, who wrote the book Grain Brain, and also Dr. Drew Pinsky, who's an addiction specialist. The one thing I've learned from many of these specialists is that sugar is addictive. So let's start with the definition of sugar. What is it? Well, it's carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. That's what makes up simple sugar. The only thing it does in the body is offer quick energy. It doesn't offer any nutritional value other than that. There are no vitamins, minerals, or enzymes in simple sugar. So how could something that tastes so good be so bad for us? I mean, after all, when I was a kid, every time I went to a birthday party, it was cake and ice cream. It's always a reward. And nowadays, a kid cannot kick a soccer ball down the field without someone shoving a cupcake with 3 inches of icing down their throat. So how could something so innocent be so sinister? Do we have to wait for sugar to actually hit our stomach or our gut or our liver in order for it to activate? No, not at all. Actually, when it hits the front of your tongue, that's where the sweet receptors are. We are already getting that message sent to the brain. It goes right to the cerebral cortex. This in turn activates our brain's reward center. The reward center of our brain is activated by things such as drugs, alcohol, and even love. So what happens in that pleasure center? Our brains release something called dopamine, and it elevates our mood. We simply feel better. Unfortunately, it's short-lived. which means if you want to keep that feeling going, you need more and more of the drug. And in this case, it's sugar, except this time it won't work exactly the same. You have to take in more sugar just to get the same feeling. Now it's really insidious because sugar also alters the inhibitory part of the brain, which means the more sugar you eat, the easier it becomes to make bad decisions. It reminds me of a country and western song by Joe Nichols called Tequila Makes Her Clothes Fall Off. According to experts, sugar will prematurely age the brain, causing cognitive dysfunction, Alzheimer's, and dopamine deficiency. And before I move on, just a quick word about attention deficit disorder, ADD. Now, I'm no expert on this, but when you talk to doctors, they'll tell you it's hereditary, and there's nothing you can do about it other than taking drugs that won't cure the problem. What they'll also tell you about ADD is that it's associated with a dopamine deficiency. Now, when I was young, I didn't know anyone with ADD. I'm sure they were around. Maybe they weren't diagnosed. But now it seems like everyone I know has either ADD or ADHD. And one of the main things that's increased over the last 40 years is sugar consumption. All right. And it goes on from there. So, folks, if you want to hear the whole thing, you can go check that out on my YouTube channel. But yeah, I like talking about sugar as an addiction. And boy, was I watching it because, I did that video right before I left. I put that together right before I left. So it wasn't even out yet. And when I got there, I'm watching it in real time.
Right.
I'm watching people make bad decisions on top of bad. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, Vinny, come on, they're on vacation. Well, fuck, every day of their life must be vacation then. Because you don't get to 300 and 400 pounds. And they weren't all 300 and 400 pounds. Some of them were, 250, which we used to call really, really fat. But that's almost normal now on anyone, right? We look at that as success. We're not moving in the right direction. I'm sorry, Anna, go on.
No, I hear you on that. And it is tough because if you're using the framework that you want to improve your health, then eating a certain way and your increased sugar and grains consumption is a bad decision. If that, you know what I mean? It's the thing where you make a decision. I want to have this thing. Well, the behavior that you need to do to line up with it. You know what I mean? And that's because when I hear you say make a bad decision, it sounds like you're placing a qualifier, a judgment on people's judgment. But what you're actually saying is if you say you want this thing, you're going to have to make a decision framework that lines up with it. And unfortunately, you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's what it comes down to. And I've lived that. You know what I mean? I'm the example of that. So even if you don't hear Vinny, because Vinny's always seemed to be just so fit all the time, take it from me. I just can't. I've played with it too long and it doesn't work. So, and other people out there with addiction will understand. But
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I have a new movie that I've been working on.
Can't wait.
Where it basically talks about how people try to get around the addiction, right? How, the workarounds.
Right.
And as our mutual friend always says, Miss Nancy Wolfson, who also shared a birthday with me yesterday.
That's right. Happy belated.
And thank you. We both always said you can't eat around the bad diet, right? And what she meant by that is you really want that ice cream, but I'm going to have a Crystal Light, and then I'm going to have a
scoop of fat-free sour cream instead of the ice cream.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to go have You're the first one to ever articulate that to me. I was like, oh my God, I've done that a million times. Yeah. I'm glad I have. It also helps that you're giving the vocabulary for this. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, like for example, when I'm with people who are winemakers and they give me a wine that tastes really good, I say to them, why do I like this? And then they give me the vocabulary for it so that I can better articulate myself. Right. And so what you've done with this stuff is to give people the vocabulary to be able to even identify that it's happening. So I appreciate that. But I wanted to bring something up too. It's kind of along the same lines, Vinny. This week was a hard week for me because we had George would have been 58 this week. My mom would have been 80 today. And I was, of course, thinking a lot about people who have gone. And I wanted to bring this up because the last conversation that I had with George before I said what would wind up being my final goodbye, was giving him a hug. And he said to me, he started crying and he said to me and Lauren and me, everybody knows I'm doing the best I can. Right. And he was crying and then we started crying. And I said to him, I was like, you don't owe anybody an explanation.
Right.
Of course, everybody knows you're doing your best. But if that's what I need to tell you, yes, for sure. Everybody knows that. But you don't owe anyone an explanation but yourself. And so it just really hit me when you were talking about the folks who were doing this and that and the other thing. When they're ready, they're going to be ready. You know what I mean? And just like you don't owe anybody an explanation for why you like to do things the way that you do, you just have the information out there. And when people are ready, they're going to come, and you're not bossy about it. And you're not forcing your life or your agenda into people's lives. You know, I don't know. You don't owe Vinny, you don't owe anybody an explanation for why you care so much. It's
look, I just do. I have family members that I really care about. Look, I even care. There's a woman that I talk to a lot. I'm not going to give her name, but I will say that she's a parrot head and she's also a Swiftie. So she knows who I'm talking about.
She's crossing all the generational boundaries. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, wait, how can you be a parrot head and a Swiftie?
Apparently you can.
I mean,
you can.
Mind blown. So she knows who she is. And, you know, we go back and forth on text. And she tells me, you know, I really tried today and I really screwed up because they had this at work, that at work, or I got really upset about this or really upset about that. And it's like, I get all that, but guess what? And I don't mean
you don't owe me an explanation. The only person you owe anything to is yourself.
Yeah. Life is going to keep coming at you.
Yeah.
The one thing I know about life is that it's going to keep fucking coming at you. And that's just a fact.
I have a quick story for you.
Go on.
On Saturday, this past Saturday, I drove to one of the pavilions. I think it was West Hollywood to demo. And I didn't realize until I was an hour and a half into the drive when I stopped to charge the car that I forgot my purse. And so I was really glad I had my phone because most places take Apple Pay. And so I was able to run in the store and I didn't have any food either. So I was like, I'll just get, I had one nut butter, which I'm holding in my hand. Not this one. I ate that one, but I had a nut butter. And so I ran in to grab a thing of salami, but I didn't have my usual things that are in my purse, my lip gloss, my money, my credit cards, my driver's license. I'm like, okay, the only thing that you have to do is not get pulled over. So I'm on this trip and my lips are getting dry. And I had been talking with Lucy about how addicted I am to lip gloss and lip balm and all this stuff. And it is dry in California, but I'm pretty addicted to that stuff. So I realized that I was like, my lips are really, really getting dry and I don't like this feeling. And I was eating the salami and I realized the salami had some pretty good fat on it. So right. I took the charcuterie and I literally rubbed it on my lips.
Oh, I've done that before.
It was a very effective lip balm.
Yeah. No, I do that sort of thing. So I get
great. And then on the way home, I stop at a different charging station because I don't have my range isn't that long. So I have to charge twice if I go back and forth to LA. I stop at a different charging station and they have an Amazon Fresh grocery store. And I was like, great. I know they have a hot bar there. I'm going to go get some chicken because so far I just had a little charcuterie and the nut butter. And at this point it's 5:30, almost 6 p.m. So I was like, I'm going to go get some chicken from the Amazon Fresh. And I walk in Amazon Fresh. And I just have the phone. And again, it also felt very freeing to just have the phone and not have to lug around a purse. And I said, do y'all accept Apple Pay? And he said, no, we don't. And I was like, he's like, we'll do Amazon Pay. And I'm like, I don't have Amazon Pay. I don't know what the fuck that is. And so I was like, oh, you know what? Well, this is one of those times where I'll just fast until I get home and then I'll, and it's fine. But I thought that was really interesting. I was like, oh, Amazon won't even do Apple Pay. It's just a payment method. You still get money.
I thought it was just a credit card like any other, because, Cotty, hang on. I said Cotty, sorry.
The billionaire, Don Cunnington's Friday, 5 o'clock. Have a good weekend.
Okay. Cotty always tells me that every time we go somewhere, he's got Apple Pay. And I said, well, what is that? He goes, it's just a credit card.
Yeah, so it's just a way that you double click your phone. And then when it's near the reader, it charges whatever credit card is hooked into Apple Pay. It's great. I'm sure
Right.
there's other payment things that you can do, but I don't have them set up, but it's fine. But I thought it was interesting. And then one more thing, when I was at this demo and I told this story briefly on my Instagram stories, so here's what I always say, because again, I'm not saying dumb it down, but what I sell, the tomato sauce, the marinara, the gravy, is pasta sauce. That is what it's called in the grocery world. That's what it's called in the CPG world. So we have to call it a pasta sauce, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So I say to people to get them to stop, because everyone's in the middle of their grocery shopping. They don't want to stop unless they're hungry and they want a free sample. Would you like to try some no sugar added pasta sauce? Sometimes I'll change it up and say marinara. Sometimes I'll say red sauce. Sometimes I'll say spicy sauce. It depends. But it's usually 80% of the time, would you like to try some no sugar added pasta sauce? And this younger guy, he turns, he's like, yeah. What is it? Rayo's? And I go, no, fuck them. Like, I had a visceral.
Wow.
I know. It was a lot. And he laughed and I was like, sorry. Like, I know I shouldn't have said that. And then he was like, and then he tried it and bought a jar. He loved it. And I was like, that's great. But then I thought to myself, I was like, Rayo's is the one that has the rep as the no sugar added pasta sauce. Because they were one of the first ones to do it. And they were also one of the first ones to have super premium prices on the shelf. Right. And it's worked out well for them. But then the thing is, another guy comes up and I said, hey, would you like to try some no sugar added pasta sauce? And he leans over and he goes, I'm sorry, but it needs the sugar. That was his response. I go, no, sir. With all due respect, it does not.
And you told that guy to go fuck himself too?
No, I did not tell him to fuck himself.
Yeah, I was.
But then he said, no, he basically said he wanted sugar in his pasta sauce. And then he walked over to Rayo's and was going through. And I go, sir, if you're going to go try my biggest competitor, could you at least do me a solid and come try mine? That one also has no sugar. Yeah. And he came over and he tried it and he bought a jar. I'm very mouthy, apparently. But here's the thing. Rayo's just sold for $2 billion. But guess what,
if you make that kind of money, you need to peel off 100,000 to me.
Trust me, I will.
Yeah.
Rayo's, this is the third time they've sold. Did you know that, Vinny?
I did not.
This is the third. Do you think that the Rayo's guy worked out his non-compete years ago and went and started Carbone? They're not what you think that they are. That's all I'm saying. But it was very interesting that I had that visceral response. And then I was like, fuck Rayo's. They got $2 billion. They're good. Rayo's is good. Anyway, I thought you would appreciate that story, being the man who's the fuck Kellogg's guy.
Yeah, and if you ever get that kind of money, you need to peel off a little something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
You know, see if we can
Are
work
you
something
kidding
out.
me? Are you kidding me? No, it won't be that kind of money. But
no, look, it's I get it, man. You and I respect what you're doing over there. You're just chasing people up and down the aisle.
I do. I put the work in, man. I put the work in.
No, it's what it takes. People want to know what it takes to be successful. And we talk a lot about success and diet and everything, but it's everything in life. You know, it's like, how do you become successful? Well, you know, you chase people down, you know, old Italian woman chasing people down in a store going, fuck that mother, try this, shoving it in their mouth.
It's like the rude Pepsi challenge. That's what I'm doing.
Does anyone remember the Pepsi challenge?
I never have cursed about another brand. I would never even like say that ever, but I just, for some reason, knowing that they'd sold last week for $2 billion. And I was like, you think Rayo's needs some lady out in a store telling, you know what I mean? Giving out samples. They don't need you. They don't need me.
Yeah, what is it? Rayo's? No, mother. Yeah, you know, I get it. It's crazy.
Fine. And by the way, Rayo's is fine. You know what I mean? I will say they're not the same as they used to be because again, they've sold 3 times. By the way, they sold to Campbell's. So there are some manufacturers who wouldn't touch us because they had a really big account that I bet you could guess what it was. And guess who lost their biggest client last week? So now all of a sudden there's room on the lines, which is really good news for us because we need to be able to make more to be able to
get in there, Anna.
Get in the
Get in there, baby.
So for that reason, I love you, Rayo's.
And let's hold the subject we were going to have for last week.
Next week, you guys, we are starting holidays 101.
Yeah.
Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We're going to give the rundown.
Yeah. You know, it's all coming up. We like to do that this time of year. And it always ends up at the end of the year where we do the 12 days of Christmas, whether you want us to or not.
I can't believe we're almost to that now.
Yeah, we're coming up again where we have to play that stupid song again and come up with, every year we find something different in that song.
That's a lot of pressure.
It is. It is. It's not easy. We do it because people expect it of us. You know, Thanksgiving, we always do,
Do they expect it of us, or we just do it because we like to do it?
I like to do it. And we always do Alice's Restaurant for Thanksgiving because
Correct.
that's what you're supposed to do.
And Old Lang Syne for New Year's.
I do the same song. I find something new in it every time.
We could just replay an old episode and no one would know.
I know. We could
no one would know.
I got to stop. You know what, Anna? This year, remind me not to say which year we're in. And then
we could just keep it evergreen.
Yeah. Debbie, keep this one, put a pin in it. Just
say we're now in 2000 beep.
But no, I like doing those shows because we find something new in those songs every year. Yeah. And look, I hope I didn't piss anyone off today with all of this because.
Well, I hope Rayos doesn't sue me today. So you and I are in the same boat.
No, they're not going to sue you.
No, I know. They don't.
The bottom line is, and by the way, that was the one relative at the wedding. I didn't even talk about the wedding.
How was the wedding? Was it lovely? I know we have to go. I have to go too.
Yeah, no. It was a nice little ceremony. There was a couple of things I was weirded out by that I don't want to say on the air.
Don't say it. It's your family. Don't say it.
It's not my family. It was her family, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
I was a little weirded out, by a couple of things that happened, and other people noticed the same thing and brought it up. The one thing, do I say anything?
Nope.
Oh, there was one relative of, it was my sister-in-law's half sister.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently she follows us in NSNG.
Oh, that's nice.
Super nice woman, right? And I know she was doing this as a joke, but we're at the rehearsal party the night before. And she gives me, that's the first time I see her on this event, right? I've met her several times before. And she gives me, I'm watching you. I'm watching you, Mr. NSNG.
What does she think you're going to do? Are you not allowed to have a life?
It's like, what do you think I'm going to do? It's a fish fry.
I would love it if she just caught you on tape, just mowing like a giant key lime pie all to yourself.
I'm like sitting there going, she's joking, but I'm sitting there going, then you start wondering, will someone take a video of me? And it was a fish fry. And turns out they can't make fish in Florida the way they do in Louisiana. So I didn't really eat any. I left the party hungry. And
they didn't make you some nice grouper?
No, it was just a fish fry. And I don't know. I don't even know what kind of fish. It wasn't catfish. I don't know what the fuck it was. So there was that, and that was a problem. So I was like, well, you can watch me all you want. I'm not eating this crap. Right. And so I just kind of went hungry that night. And I got back to my room and I did what you would do when you're on the road trying to sauce up your car with some energy. I just had a couple of ultra fats and called it a night.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Anna, this has nothing to do with health and fitness, but when your car, you have a Tesla, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 4 years old.
I hear about
like new or fancy or anything.
I hear about these charging stations. You hear about fights at the charging station, people trying to hold charging stations for other people. I've heard all this kind of stuff.
I haven't never seen that, but
okay. First off, I haven't seen a chart. Where are these? How do you know where they are? Is it like an app?
It's on the map. They're on the map.
On what map?
On Google Maps. If you chart a route on your Tesla, it'll tell you to stop at Oxnard charging station or stop at Ventura's charging station. Now I know where they are on my route. Like I wouldn't take this car on a long distance. I know people who do. My friends took theirs to Utah and went all the way up. I'm not comfortable with that. I would rather have a gas car, but it's such a comfortable ride. That car. It's one of my favorite cars.
Okay, hang on.
I've ever had.
Stop. Just stop. Let's say I wanted to take this car across country. Can I?
Yeah. You can.
There's enough
There are
charging
way more
stations.
charging stations than there were when I got it in
So through the plain
2019.
states, people talk about the
Yes.
anxiety of battery life anxiety or whatever they call it. Do you ever sit there and go, oh my God, this is about to run out of battery?
No, because there are now so many other electric cars and you have an adapter. So if you have to stop at a different kind of charger, you can. It's fine.
And what do you pay at the charger? Do they charge you?
Yeah, it's hitched to your credit card. So you just charge up. I don't know. It depends. I want to say 20 to 25 minutes to charge it back up. And I just, go pee or walk. I go for a walk. That's a great way to, because I get so antsy in the car.
Okay, so it's a 25-minute gas stop. So, all right, so that's a hassle versus 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah,
okay,
if it were to zip in real fast, if it were to zap up, that'd be great.
How long
waiting for the technology to get there?
What do you actually?
Oh, and it's probably anywhere between $7 and $12. 12 is like the most expensive I've seen it, but it's usually around $7
to fill it up.
Yeah.
Okay, $7 gets you how far?
200 miles.
All right. Now, everyone tells me that has an electric car. They go, yeah, it says 200 miles, but if I'm on a freeway, it's actually 130.
No, it's not that bad, but I have to drive over a mountain pass. So it's more like 170.
Okay. So $7 will get you 170 miles or that's obviously way cheaper. I mean, to fill up my car, when my car is completely full, it costs 60 some odd bucks. And then it's basically, how you say, 325 miles I can get out of that.
Yeah, no, that's great.
No,
my BMW.
I have a 4Runner. They have horrible gas mileage, but if you if you know how to drive and you don't drive like an idiot,
right?
On the freeway, I could get over 19 miles per gallon if it's not mountainous.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say my BMW gets 23, so it gets pretty far. I think I'm going to take that because I'm going to Marina Del Rey. So I think I'm going to take the BMW because it's further and then I don't have to stop.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I still don't see where the electric cars are worth it. Right. I don't see it. I'm still a combustion guy.
I don't blame you. I still like a combustible engine, a combustion engine. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
It's combustion. I always
say
combustible. If you say combustible, that means the engine
is explodable. Okay. We don't want that. We want a combustion engine. No, I still love a combustion car. I got in that Tesla and I loved the way that it drove and the comfort and the tech in it. That's what I loved about it. The electric, ironically, I care less about the electric aspect than the fact that it drives like a dream.
I used to drive a Tesla. Remember before it became like a thing and you could get like these little sports car Teslas and it was like the first ones he made. And they were basically
those little Model S ones?
No, they looked like a Lotus. It was built on a Lotus frame and it was just battery car. It was a sports car. It did 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds. And
they zip out. Like I have no problem being in a dicey situation, zipping around something bad that's about to happen.
Yeah, no, they get around. Those things get around. And, but yeah. All right, Anna, we're going to call it.
Yeah, we're done.
Because, I'm glad I made it through the show because I was not happy about talking about this.
Yeah.
It's
a hard thing to talk about. And I think people are afraid to talk about it because they feel like they're hurting people's feelings. And it's never about that. It's not about hurting feelings. It's about, we want whatever your deepest desire is about your health, whatever you feel that you want to change. That's why you're here. You're here to help and give information.
Yeah. And I will always be passionate about this. It's all I've ever done. And so there. So
and I want you to eat the yummy food and not feel like, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. We went to this place. It's a high-end place and it tasted fine. And my stomach hurt so badly. And I think it's the friggin' oils. It's like, that's one thing about why I want to control what I'm eating too, because I just can't handle all these crappy seed oils. Anyway, that's for another time. Let's go.
We'll get out of here because I could go another hour if I start. Folks, you want to hang around to the very end here because I'm going to play the same song, but I'm going to play it with Bonnie Raitt. who also, just like Emmylou Harris, Bonnie Raitt probably did it with John Prine live more than anyone else. So it's just her by herself. I found it. Hopefully it's a good version of it because I haven't listened to it yet. In the meantime, Anna Vocino, you may find her in a grocery store chasing you down with some pasta sauce. So if you see a crazy Italian woman running through a store saying, "Fuck you, try my arrabbiata." What are you?
I
what
will.
are you saying?
It's no sugar.
I got the crema here, you son of a bitch. She'll be yelling at you. If
I
you,
will.
She's coming to a store near you, and do not deny her.
Speaking of Texas, you guys, we're in all the Central Market locations, all 10 locations in Texas. That's a huge thing. We've been talking for almost 18 months with these people to make this happen. Please, please go to Central Market and buy the sauce. Please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
Yes, just go there. No
Just
crazy
go there and
Italian woman will run you
I
down.
won't
She's
be there to
already
yell
told
at
us
you.
to.
So I'm just going to, it has to be honor system. You have to yell at yourself.
Yeah.
And that I would really appreciate. And then in Chicago and a few locations in Indiana, Jewel, there are 28 locations of Jewel Osco who have decided to set up a premium pasta sauce section. And they brought us in for that. All 5 flavors. Please look at eathappykitchen.com and see if there's a location near you. I would so appreciate it. This doesn't
Jewel,
happen without you guys going and buying stuff. What's that, Vin?
Whenever you say Jewel, I think about a snaggletooth.
Oh, that's my Jewel impression.
I don't even remember her song. How does it go? Was that her song?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
I got to look it up now.
Go play your song.
I'll play my song.
I have to go. I have to call somebody in London who's pissed that I'm late.
Okay, we have this song also then. Let's see here. You just tell them we had Bonnie Raitt and Jewel to play. You'll understand. So folks, go check out everything Anna Vocino is doing. You know what to do with me. We all go shopping on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner. It puts a little coal on the fire, gets my train down the track. I personally want to thank everyone who sent a special donation for my birthday.
So nice.
Yeah, a lot of people, that goes to helping this podcast continue. Some people sent $61 because that's my age. Some people sent the amount of weight they lost. Some people sent $20 and $25 donations.
Right.
I appreciate every dime. I know it's not easy. We live in a time that's pretty tough, and everyone, it's great that you guys are doing that. This money does not go into my pocket. It goes right to helping other people lose weight, like those poor people that I saw down in Florida. So on behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living with first Bonnie Raitt and then a little bit of Jewel.